I want to remind people that the Kansas City Chiefs, with the worst organization we found out yesterday, even though they're two-time champions, also, and this is underreported, had a bank robber fan who called himself Chiefsaholic. And he became famous. He became a famous fan. So you're two-time defending champion, more famous than ever because of Taylor Swift. Have a bank robber fan who is now, he's going to get like 50 years in jail. He's got to return $532,000 and an autographed Mahomes photo, which seems excessive. It seems cruel. And then his attorney... I didn't think this was a real thing. You talk about AI, Mike. I thought this was a spoof. I thought I'm watching this on the courthouse steps with some trash in the background, and I'm thinking, no, this is Funny or Die. This is a comedy team. This isn't Chiefsaholic actual attorney.
From the beginning of this case, folks, the government has been blitzing, and Xavier's pocket was collapsing. But today, Xavier stepped into the pressure. He took responsibility for his actions. He stood up in court, humble and repentant, and admitted what he had done. Now, if I know anything about Xavier, and if the Chiefs Kingdom knows anything about Chiefsaholic, we know that he doesn't give up. We know that if he stumbled and he fell, he didn't let his knee touch the ground. And that's because he's capable of doing a great thing. And he knows that there's still hope. We still have a lot of work to do on his case, but Xavier wants everyone to know that he loves the Chiefs Kingdom, he loves Kansas City, and he hopes that you'll rally to his support. Thank you and God bless.
If I framed that differently and just told you that was The Daily Show, The Daily Show had hired a paid actor to do that. The Chiefs have a bank robber who's going to jail for a long time with the misery of, I used to be our most famous fan. And now it's that Taylor Swift. I used to get my entire identity as a Chiefs fan. And let me explain something to you. I'm a bank robber. I rob banks. I think it's to support a gambling habit. I think it is nice. It tickles me. His voice. How many of those do you have? If you've got a variety of them, you could tickle me for the rest of the show. You got to get better at it. That didn't seem like a real thing, did it? You're watching that and you think that looks like a spoof.
The hard R on Xavier threw me off.
That was crazy. Xavier.
Young Charlie Casterly over there really forcing that hard R.
I find myself bemused by the fact that as much as we cover this sport and we cover the holy hell out of it, we have this going on at the top of that sport, and I can't engage you guys in a Tua conversation because what the Chiefs have figured out is how to remain championship worthy when you have the best quarterback and you pay him correctly and you have him cheap at the beginning of the career. He develops a relationship with the coach. The coach gets an A+ from the staff because he's making the entire thing run, and Taylor Swift surrounds it and makes you the biggest thing in the biggest thing. It's pretty amazing to learn as a journalist yesterday the Chiefs are run like shit.
It's become fact. We don't have the data points. We know that their building is super old, and some people don't like.
But
the
I
catering.
think of the Bengals that way. I think of the Bengals.
Yeah, again, the same thing. These franchises that have been handed down, where the main revenue stream is the actual team, you'll run into that.
Did you see the notes on what the Bengals have to go through as far as their shower and the toilet? They only have 5 working toilets, by the way.
Tony, the Bengals, I didn't read yesterday's Bengals stuff. The only one I knew, I'm not plugged into football this way. Maybe Peter King knew this stuff. Probably Mina and a bunch of others. I did not know this stuff. The only organization in pro football in my modern age covering that sport, as it's gotten very wealthy, known to be cheap, was the Bengals. They weren't trying to actually win. They were just trying to keep the business afloat, and they were cheap in a million different ways, and it didn't feel like you were playing in the NFL or at a top-tier organization to be playing for the Bengals because they were doing it cheap while everybody was making money. I did not know that about the Kansas City Chiefs, our two-time champions, and I'm not sure if America knew it. I feel it's not exactly journalism because it's just, a bunch of players talking anonymously, just asking about their work conditions, but I appreciated the honesty.
All of this just proves what we already knew. Quarterbacks are the most important. It doesn't matter what your training staff's like, your training room, your facilities, how your owner treats you. If you have a good quarterback, you win. And if you don't, like the Dolphins, A's everywhere. What does it get us? Nothing.
From Cincinnati, from the actual report cards, this is under Cincinnati's tab. The players reported that half of the showers in their locker room don't function properly, lacking either warm water or sufficient water pressure. They also mention a persistent plumbing issue, leaving them with only 5 functioning toilets for the entire team. Last year, the Bengals didn't provide 3 meals a day for their players. This year, they do, but only on Wednesdays.
I'm just looking at this whole report card graphic for the first time. Green Bay's number 3.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm calling into question all of this.